Hey everybody, welcome to Jedioshi Warrior Training. I'm Ramboshi, and today is Thursday, December 16th. It's a relatively quiet and flat day in equities and cryptocurrency markets, but I wanted to run through some things with you guys and take a look at what we're looking at, what we're seeing, and what we're expecting to happen. So first we'll start with the S&P on the equity side. Overnight we did see the bulls take over 47, as high as 47.30, I believe, until we've got a little bit of selling intraday throughout the day. We'll see what that resolves, and we'll see if the bulls can take this into a blow-off top. If you look at the latest Bitcoin update, we're continuing to correct. We're on day 30 of the correction underneath this line. This is actually 36 days since the top, but this smaller zone here, we're in day 12 of the correction. And although we've broken out on RSI and retested that line on the daily, which is a good first indicator that we have a trend reversal, we haven't confirmed it with price yet. So we are still waiting for price to confirm and give us a new trend if it's going to happen, and just waiting and watching and waiting for this to break out one way or the other. If you look at an overlay, what's interesting is if you look at an overlay of this next chart here is the Bitcoin price chart overlaid with SPY, or the S&P. And this takes it back to that May, June, July timeframe in the correction period. Bitcoin is in blue here and SPY is in red, or the S&P. You can see that SPY was in an uptrend about halfway through Bitcoin's correction. SPY continued, it chopped, but then it continued to go up. And it ran up until early September before it corrected for a brief period. And what's interesting to me is that when Bitcoin dropped into the end of July, before it was able to bounce out, it looks to me as if I was zooming, this is a 4-hour line chart, but once Bitcoin did break above this line, what I would say is it really took equities to recover this trend, in my opinion, before Bitcoin broke. So I think, to me, that's maybe an indication as to what we're seeing now, is that we need the bulls to fully take over control and to put us back in an uptrend instead of a sideways movement, put us back in an uptrend, and then Bitcoin can resume up and up only. So we'll see what happens, but I thought that was interesting. Back in July, it did look like equities got back on their trend before Bitcoin broke its correction. And then again, a couple things here. One is look at the correlation. You just don't have Bitcoin going up without equities going up. Bitcoin can drop while equities go up, and Bitcoin can drop while equities are relatively flat, but Bitcoin does not go up when equities are not going up. So we'll continue to watch this, obviously, but it could be the case that we need equities to resume an uptrend before Bitcoin turns around. So we'll keep a close eye on that. The next thing I wanted to take a look at was dominance, and this kind of plays into a larger theme and a picture that we've talked about on the live stream and other videos, but let's look at dominance. And this is the 1-hour chart. If we go back to the daily, we see that we are moving down to this kind of daily candle pivot around 40%. And that's that key level. What I think is going to be interesting is that once we get down here, how do we react? Do alts lead? As you can see, since we did have a little bit of relief and a little bit of buy-side action yesterday, and Bitcoin dominance fell pretty nicely too. So will this continue? And what will that mean for two things, alts in general, and also our market cycle analysis? Now, let's take a look now at a comparison of Bitcoin to the altcoin market cap. So Bitcoin's in blue. This is again a line chart. This is a daily line chart. Bitcoin's in blue, and the total altcoin market cap is in orange. I hinged it to the top here in November, and basically pinned it together at the top here, and then also got it so I could pin the bottom we are seeing, like you saw in the dominance chart over the last 36 hours or so, we are seeing separation. Alts are separating versus Bitcoin. And if I were to zoom in, well, I'm going to lose my scale, but if I were to zoom in on this, let's see what happens. It's not the best. But if we go back to this daily range, it's a better view. And you are seeing a little bit of low time frame separation. I think in theory and in general, the way I'm looking at this is if we do see, because y'all know from the live stream and the other things, that if we see alts run hard separately, to me, that signals that there has been some Bitcoin selling to move into the altcoins, which would line up with my theory that this is a topping area, at least for some pretty big period of time. Conversely, for me, if Bitcoin were to tear out of here alone and leave alts behind, obviously think through that, what that means, what dominance would look like. You'd have dominance going up, you'd have Bitcoin going up, you'd have alts not separating, you'd have alts falling. If that happens, to me, there's a chance that we may actually blow up and I'll get an all-time high in Bitcoin earlier than my base case. My base case, as you know, is basically that this is a topping area, or my trading base case, that this is a topping area. I believe we paint something like this, where this to me is tradable, this to me is tradable, this is where you don't want any exposure in the market. So to me, in this, and why I'm so interested in what the altcoins are doing and what dominance is doing, is because I think alts will tell the story. I think alts will signal whether or not the Bitcoin bulls have conceded that this is a top, and so they've left and pushed into the altcoin market, or if they're holding and only buying Bitcoin and strengthening, and Bitcoin goes on its own and alts lag like they did in early 2021. Bitcoin was running ahead of alts, and then we might be looking at all-time high. So again, keep a close eye on altcoins and the relative performance to Bitcoin, and we'll keep looking at that daily and constantly as an indicator and as a guide to what we think might play out here as we hopefully break through this and reach up and make new local high levels. And the last thing I wanted to show you guys is this fear and greed index. And I know you probably see that graph that has the fuel gauge or whatever it is, and this symbol. We're at 29 now, relatively flat for a week. And again, we've been in this almost sideways correction. It's a little bit of a downtrend correction for 12 days. A month ago, we were at 71. So we dropped pretty hard. But you can scroll down. This is at, I always just go and search it on Google and then find it here, but it's on alternative.me. And you can get a chart. And what's interesting here is you can look at, this is our summer correction. And we came down to 20 with lows of 10. And then finally broke out, ran up to between 70 and 80 on fear and greed before, and then that middle correction back up to the new highs. Fear and greed got a little bit higher, but not that much higher, and then down. And here we are. We've had a low point of 16 with a range high of 30. So this is another indicator that I'll look at to kind of gauge the sentiment in the market. And when it's low, usually it's a decent time to enter. Obviously look at the chart, but when it's high, you just need to pay special attention. But that's a wrap for me for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed the live stream yesterday. We covered a ton of material, and I hope you enjoyed this video today. Please share, like, subscribe, click the notification bell so you get notifications on when I post videos or when we go live. And always do your own research, do your own work. I am not a financial advisor. I don't give financial advice. I do analysis and trade ideas and that sort of thing, but we all have to manage our own portfolios. Very important. So enjoy your Thursday, crush it today, and we'll be back at you soon. Goodbye.